I come to you with peace, love, and positivity. I hope that you are having an amazing day and that everything is going exactly the way that you want it to go. Thank you so much for watching my video. I wanted to create a quick video for you to check out to allow you to learn more about me. A few of my friends have shared that it would be helpful for me to let people know who I am and get to know me, and it was like earth shattering because I'm like, oh, I guess it would make sense that people who follow you or friend you on social media want to know about the person behind the memes, behind the cool stuff that is being posted. I mean, cool is subjective, but of course I'm biased. Like everything that I post is cool. Yeah, it's true, right? Like I do want to connect with the people who follow me, and I want to connect with the people that I follow. So I hope that you find this video to be enjoyable in some way. I am a licensed clinical social worker in Las Vegas, Nevada, who delights in working with children, teenagers, and their families on a variety of things, but the that I'm most passionate about is suicide prevention. I have learned over the course of my career a therapeutic modality that is typically used to help people with overwhelming, overpowering, out of control emotions learn behavioral strategies that will help them to manage their urges and their emotions skillfully without harming themselves or harming others. A component to that experience of having overwhelming or overpowering emotions can be to engage in self-injurious behaviors, which are a variety of things. I'll highlight two or three. Self-injurious behaviors can be cutting oneself, restricting food or eating disorder behaviors, getting into fights all the time physically, so on and so forth. Anything that causes some physical harm to the body is self-harm. Oftentimes, self-harm is used, again, like I said, to manage overwhelming, overpowering emotions. The science behind that is when someone engages in self-injurious behaviors and their emotions are like skyrocketing, the injury releases from the brain neurochemicals that act as painkillers. So in a sense, that person has relief. The secondary problem with that, more often than not, aside from harming oneself and beginning to rely on that strategy to feel better, is the more and more you self-harm, the more and more you have to self-harm, and the deeper and deeper or the more intense you have to self-harm in order to get that relief from the brain. So I teach people strategies to replace that ineffective behavior because in the long run, self-injurious behaviors only cause severe and dire issues. Additionally, I work with folks who are feeling like they no longer want to live, find meaning and purpose in their lives, and practice behavioral strategies that will help them take a few steps away, get space from the urge to want to die so they can do something different. And while I'm mindful that it's one's own life, and at the end of the day, one can do whatever they want to with it, what I also know is when someone is in a state of deep depression, that they're doing the best that they can, that they're putting forth a tremendous amount of effort to increase their will to live, their joy. Like, people want to be happy, like just straight up across the board, whoever you are, you want to be happy. When we are depressed, it is difficult to find that happiness, to have that motivation, that will to live at times. So exploring that and figuring out the reasons why someone wants to take their own life, and figuring out the reasons that that person has to live, and working towards removing whatever barriers that are in place that get in the way of that person's will to live is what I enjoy doing in therapy with my clients. I got here, I think I might have mentioned it, forgive me. I should have a board because I have bouncy brain, but I got here because my father took his own life. If I mentioned this before, forgive me, bouncy brain. My father took his life 20 years ago. So different courses of events led me here, and I had no intention of being a therapist. I had some thoughts of, being, someone when I was like a little girl, someone sitting in a chair taking notes, someone's lying on a couch, and realizing that that was psychology, right, mental health. And then I started watching documentaries about, people who deliver babies, so I wanted to be an OBGYN. And then I took a biology class while I went to a university in Louisiana, did awesome, came back home because, as I mentioned, my father passed away 20 years ago, which was the year 2000. I knocked out my first semester out of state, too homesick and stricken with grief, missing him and missing my family, that I decided to return home. And I went to UNLV, and I took another biology class, and my first test, it wasn't midterms or anything like that, but my first test, turned it in, of course, and the teacher pulled me to the side like the next class, and he's like, you may want to drop this class, because essentially he said, you're not going to make it. So I appreciated him for keeping it real, and I did drop the class, and I ended up finding, I had to find another class so I could keep my scholarship, and I found social work. So I was like, let me take social work, let me take this elective, let me see what this is about. I did not want to take social work. I had no idea what it was. I don't think that I heard of it at the time. But I had my first class, first couple weeks, and I fell in love with the methodology of social work, the foundation of social work, how the social workers are advocates and they're change agents and they're gatekeepers, and they just these very bold and passionate people who want to reimagine the world and make it better than what it was when we leave. Hope that makes sense. So I kind of ended up back, in earlier childhood fantasy. Even though I'm not a psychologist, I'm a clinical social worker, I am providing mental health. And I am sitting in a chair, but my clients are not laying on the couch. They sit up with me. And we have these moments where they are sharing the most vulnerable parts of their lives, different experiences that they've had that have been gorgeous and beautiful and heart-wrenching and heartbreaking with me. And I just feel so very fortunate that I've arrived to where I have arrived to. It makes me think of a quote from Think and Grow Rich, written by Napoleon Hill back in the early 1900s. He says something about the seed of equivalent benefit. Please read the book, because I'm not going to do it justice, this quick passage. The seed of equivalent benefit. Oftentimes we go through heart-wrenching and devastating experiences in our life. And for many of us, if we implement certain things and have a certain mindset, we can take that devastating and heartbreaking moment and do something magnificent and empowering and cool that we would not have had the will or the insight to do had we not experienced that heartbreak and that devastation. So, of course, in no way am I saying that, while I am grateful to be a therapist, and I am so grateful to work with children and teenagers and their families, like I love working with kids, I'm in the right space. While I love all of those things, in no way am I saying that I'm glad that my father passed away by suicide. No way. It happened. I miss him every day. And because of that experience, I am emboldened to and passionate about suicide prevention and helping people find the motivation and will to live and revisit their reasons for living and removing those barriers that get in the way of their ability to find their life as meaningful. So that's a little bit about me. I look forward to making additional videos and being consistent. That is my goal for 2021, just consistency. And I look forward to connecting with you all. Have a really spectacular day. Until next time, peace.